Hey, nobody's out there, right? Good. Anyway, I did it. Mission accomplished. I went to the dog park with ears and a nose, and I'm just gonna wear this now, like anytime I leave the house, basically because I feel better. It feels better. Like I used to be cute. I used to be a cute guy, and my face is melting, and it's really disturbing. And I'm just gonna get old and die. And it's really like a nightmare. It's like life's. I mean, I can. People have been dying for millions of years. Like this, like cycle of life has happened, just like flowers have have bloomed and died for fucking eons. It'll be fine. I can die, but I'm trying to find like the least nightmarish way to do it. And I see the road ahead. Like I see my mom at her old folks home, and I'm just like, oh, they just deteriorate and die, and it's just gonna get worse. And so, but I keep thinking like, if I was in some old folks home, and if I could just wear like animal nose and little ears, and I want to kind of like plead crazy or something. Like I just want to be like, I'm dysfunctional. I'm a special case or something. You know, like I just think like within the boundaries of the law. Like I gotta figure this out. Like basically, I have to figure out how to make life not be like a really depressing nightmare shit. Because like, you know, just if you were a kid, right? If you were a kid, I've said this over and over, but if you were a kid and then suddenly you were like 45 and everyone in your vicinity was basically dying, it would be pretty traumatizing, right? Like you're just that's kind of still how life feels. Is it feels like I used to be a kid, and then a year went by, 2 years went by, 5 years went by, 10 years went by, and then another 10 years went by, and it's like fuck, I'm fucking old, and everyone else is like you're old, and I'm like shit, like I'm just old and I'm gonna die, and I'm really gonna die, really, really, no joke, as sure as shit, I'm gonna turn into dust, and that's just really surreal, and no one else really cares, and everybody else is gonna die eventually also. And so it's just like it's getting like the doom is getting like I can't breathe anymore. I don't know how to explain it. There's just getting to be like, it's just life is getting like really nightmare doom level. And so I have these little tricks where some days I do good, but some days there's just too much fucking doom, and I just anyway, I'll be fine. Like, but there's a bunch of ways that life could sort of get like worse. Like it's not that bad right now, but it could get worse, and I have to avoid like the worst things. Major injury could be bad, like major health like damage. So I should make sure to. It's gonna be a nightmare anyway. But there's kind of like a thing where you go fuck it, and then you do something stupid that makes you like, I don't want to like get like a major fine and go to jail or something. I don't want to get involved with any dangerous people. I don't want to get exploited. I don't want to waste my money on shit. I don't want to get into drugs or alcohol. But I keep like trying to find some like joy. Like I'm thinking like, where's the good stuff? And it feels like fuck, it's getting hard to find the good stuff. So I gotta like step my game up or something. I got a desperate times call for desperate bullshit, and I'm not trying to get laid anymore. I'm just gonna live and die alone, and my parents are gonna die first, probably, and it's just gonna be a grim, sad thing no matter what. And I'm just gonna cry publicly because I can't socialize. Everybody else my age is like, I don't really get adults. Like even still, I don't want to be an adult. I know there's this thing where like if you go hang out with other 45-year-olds, they'll be like, come on, dude, like act your age. Act your age sucks. I don't know how 45s do stuff. Like people who are 50, it's all like dead people, awful stuff. It's like watch your shows or something, read books. And I don't want to do any of that shit. I want to find some fun. I tried jujitsu. Was kind of like some like, you know, that stuff that like makes you feel alive. Like I like that shit. I like feel alive without taking drugs. and I don't want this like dead, like, oh fuck it, just kill me feeling. And so I keep thinking like, shit, there's got to be a way. I always say this. I'm just gonna say really depressing shit, but this is like how I feel. Is that you shouldn't listen to this. This is like total like depressing shit. Someone should just kill me. But this period of life, like mid 40s, it feels like the shower. It feels like the shower when the heat runs out of the shower. It's like fuck, like the heat is out, and I keep trying to find like new tricks to be like, wait, I got like a little more heat if I go to jiu-jitsu, or if I do cardio, or if I play piano really fast. It's like I can get like a little more heat. But by default, it's fucking like, and it's just, I keep thinking like this is just gonna keep getting worse and worse. And I can't kill myself. And so anyway, it was pretty good the last week. The last week I found some joy. I can do little creative projects. I just have to like book the day. I have to get a grip on my brain early in the morning, and then I got to do some creative shit and get like fired up about it. And I can't get roped into the humdrum. Somebody can't say like, I perceive you as a old boring person. You should just, I don't know how to explain it. Basically, I have to like not think about aging and death. But just all I have to do is look in the mirror and just be like, I'm fucking dead already. But I'm not really dead already. God, I used to love being cute. I swear, like that was my favorite thing in life. Like that, my whole fucking stupid life, I was just, I know like nobody cares about this, but I used to be like a cute guy. I was like this cute guy. I was trying to be cute. I wasn't that cute. Like when I was a kid, I was cute, right? I was a cute kid. And then when I was in my 20s, I did all this exercise and I got kind of cute. And I kept thinking like, if I just be cute, I'll have sex with like a supermodel and life will be great. And now I'm too old. Now I'm like an old guy. And it's just fucking, it's fucking brutal. I guess it just happens to everybody, but it was like, there's gotta be like a way to find some more fun though. There's gotta be like, I don't want to do some there's no hope at the fucking service job. I don't want to do some ceremonial adult shit. I don't want to do some macho bullshit. I don't want to do steroids. I don't want to do drugs. Actually, I might do steroids again. I might do, if I take testosterone, it makes me too nuts though. Testosterone makes me nuts. It's gonna be grim no matter what. It's gonna be like, there's no good way to do it. Many braver, more respectable, better looking men and women Dude, there's no good way to do it. I guess the best way to do it is just do it like a man. Do it brave. I can't be like a man though. I can't. I think, dude, I keep saying this over and over. You're supposed to have kids, because if you have kids, you have a reason to like buck up and be like, I would never be caught dead like crying publicly, or I can't be all pathetic. I have to be strong for my children. But if you don't have kids, it's just like, there's no reason to really be strong. I'm not going to be strong. This is going to get so much more. Also, I'm kind of incentivized to say like real like depressing shit, because that's the only thing anybody ever watches my channel for. Like if I ever say like real pathetic, like I'm a loser, I'm pathetic, I'm weak stuff, people go, yeah. And so I'm thinking like, I'm just going to do that. If I do nothing else, I'm just going to cry publicly and just do these ranting things, because there's no reason not to. I just have to talk or something. I have to scream uncle. But ideally it would be good to find some sort of, I keep hearing they're going to make this like artificial intelligent story stuff, or if you can just imagine, it'd be great to just go into some imaginary world and just daydream and do some creative project. Just get excited, or just wake up in the morning and be like, I can't wait to do this art project, and I should do that. But it's fucked. There's so many bad things about, I don't know, maybe this doesn't apply to everybody, but there's so many awful things about getting older, and one of them is just that, like it's, I'm not like fired up about stuff. Like there's kind of like this thing where it's like, why was I so excited to like, I don't know how to explain it. I've said this before, but like there's this thing where when I was a kid, I used to be like all excited about like magic cards, and I was like, oh man, when I make that new magic card deck, that's gonna be so cool. And now I'm all like, what was I so excited about? Like, oh, when I whip out that time walk, second turn channel fireball, dude, I'm gonna be the coolest guy in the world. And now I'm just like, why did I care? Like, why did I care? But you can kind of like get that way about everything. Like you can just, I'm sitting here working on, I used to derive like a lot of joy from doing these little paintings. Like I do these little drawings, I'm like, oh, I'm really getting good at drawing. Like, man, when I can do illustrations from, look, like if I would have done these drawings like 10 years ago, I would have been like, oh, like I'm getting like pretty good at this drawing stuff. And now I'm just kind of like, who cares? Who cares? It's all going to be done by machine. You can just kind of get like, who cares about like everything. I wish I could get who cares about dying though. I wish I could just be like, whatever. Okay. But boy, I'm really bummed out about just losing my looks. It's fucked up to just see your face just basically. It's like, oh shit, like I'm like an old ugly guy now. And it's really, it's awful. It's just kind of like there's like this feeling of like, where's the good stuff? It's like there used to be like, if I do this and this, it's going to be good. And now it's just like, fuck, there's nowhere else to go. There's like no more like, there's just like encroaching doom and just worse and worse, and just shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up and die alone at that screen. And it's like, but can't I do something? Like, can't I like, if I do this and this, can't it be good? And I've run out of like stuff. It used to be good. I made a naked lady. I made a naked lady. He's got a dildo. He's got a dildo. He's gonna. Anyway, he's gonna put the dildo in her butt. Anyway, who cares? Who cares? I'm just gonna die. Anyway, I still got this YouTube channel. I can always just cry publicly on this YouTube channel. And that's really what I'm going to do. It's not going to be glorious. This is not going to be a popular YouTube channel. I'm never going to make a viral video. I'm never going to get interesting. I'm just going to get older and uglier and more pathetic. You know what's fucked up about, like, I've been doing all these videos now for like 8 years just in this. I've been basically dying alone in this room for 8 years. And I can see the dying. It's really fucked up. It's like, now that I've been videoing like every day, I can look at videos from like 7 years ago, and I was like, oh, I was so much younger looking then. And I can see it's like I got really old the last like 2 years. It's fucked up. Just fucking like mid-40s is just, Jesus Christ. Anyway, there's got to be some way to cope with it though. There's got to be. Anyway, I just have these, there's like these, I'll run from it. Like I'll get some new, like, oh, I got this new project I'm working on, and I'll get like into that, and I'll just be like excited about that for about 2 weeks, and then I'll look in the mirror and I'll just be like, I'm still fucking dying, and just. I don't get how people do it. Like I keep looking at like the road ahead, and I'm just like, how do people like, how did the normal, like, I don't get how people do like normal adult life. Like how people just have like a wife who's like just two like older people. I don't really understand how they just go like, hello, like we're not attractive, we're like two old farts, and we're just, I can't imagine that. I can't imagine. I don't know how. And what do? They go to dinner or something like that, or they watch some movie, or they go to the, I don't want to shit on anybody. I guess they have kids. I keep thinking they have kids, or they. I just want to do like childish type stuff. I have to get like into something, and I don't want to just talk about like aging and death all the time. And so, but I want to be honest. Jordan Peterson says it's the people who tell the truth, or something like that. I think that's really wrong, though. You shouldn't tell the truth. The truth is fucking horrible. I don't know. I don't know if there's a truth. I always say this thing where I don't think there's like real truth, but I want to say like how I feel. Yeah, I think adult life is increasingly more and more like a nightmare. I tried testosterone. I tried HGH. I tried jiu-jitsu. I tried cardio. I tried weightlifting. I tried meetup classes. It really is just kind of worse and worse and worse. Just being, I say this over and over, just being young is the best thing, I think. If I could just snap my fingers and just be 28 years old forever, that would be great. I love just being young and cute. That was the best. Untouched by death. It's great to look in the mirror and be like, I'm a divine, untouched by death person. But now I'm touched by death, and I'm like, oh God. There's like these weird little wrinkles, like my neck is like, it's all bad. It's fucking bad. Anyway. I wish I could see. I wish I had omniscience. Nobody's listening, right? But I kind of wish I just had. I wish I had omniscience. I bet if I had omniscience, I would be really depressed. I would feel like you think it. It would occur to me that like, there's been millions and bazillions of people, just like me in the same situation. There's probably been other sort of like, awful like older people who are like, I'm scared to get old and die, and I don't want to be ugly, and I don't want to get old and die, and they just have, they're all dead. They did their crying like 100 years ago in some shack, and people said they're there. Go to God, talk to God. God will be with you. And now they're fucking ash and bone. Not even that. They're just completely forgotten. Let's just go real fucking dark. Let me get all of my... Nobody should watch this. I'm just going to get all of my doom and gloom out of the fucking way. I have to say this every once in a while. Just once every 2 weeks, I'm just going to say all the fears and stuff. I'm really going to die. Everybody's really going to die. And no one should watch this. Just, they're going to lose their looks. They're going to turn into ash. And I just don't understand how you get, like... It's gonna be good. Like, how do you get, like, how in your 50s and 60s and 70s, how do you be like, I'm gonna do this thing and it's gonna be awesome? I just think you have to have a kid. They should restructure future societies. They should either, like, solve death and just, like, I don't know, erase people's memory. I don't know. Or they should just kind of restructure society where they tell people, like, look, like, life is kind of like a chain, and you should get ready to, like, pass on that chain later in life. And in the later half of your life, you really should focus on your kids, and you should file yourself away at some humdrum job, because if you're just kind of like, if it's just you and you're focused on yourself and you're just alone, you're focused on this clearly, like, dying waste case with no hope to, like, have your best years ahead of you. It's just like you're in, like, this, like, you're just kind of like the doom just keeps getting higher every year, and it's like it's just gonna keep going, and you're like, I can't breathe, and it's like you gotta keep going, and it's like shit. Anyway, then eventually people die somehow. They die. That's gonna be me in 5 years, 10 years, 30 years, 40 years. I'm gonna have something. Let's just meditate on death. Nobody should watch this. Yeah, for sure, 100% sure. I'm gonna die, and I don't know how it's gonna happen, but it's probably gonna be probably a heart attack. I'll probably get like a heart attack, and then maybe they'll like resuscitate me, and they'll say, "Oh, we got you on these pills," and then like, if you do this, like, just come back in next week and take these other pills, and we'll give you an IEG gram, and oh, you're doing good. I'm like, I'm just gonna go to the doctor and say, isn't it just gonna happen again? And they're like, yeah, but you can put it off for like a couple of years or something, and then it'll be like, all right, and then you just kind of have to. Nobody wants to hear about this. No, nobody likes me anyway. I have no capital to protect. I have no reputation anymore. It doesn't matter what I say. This is all selfish anyway. But yeah, I'm gonna die, and then no one's gonna come to my funeral. They're just gonna be like, it's probably better. He was always just freaking out about death anyway. I always say this thing where I think like, it can only get so bad, because if I ever get real just depressed and terrified, death is now like a good thing. Like if you ever get like so freaked out where you're just like, life is like a fucking nightmare. Well, cool. Now death is like, bring on the death. But I'm really gonna die, really, 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 really. Fucking surreal, dude. There's a fucking animal. This is an animal. The animal. I got this new nose coming from Amazon. I'm gonna be a furry from now on. I'm a furry. I should get a tail too. Anyway. Yeah, but this is a pile of meat and bone. This is bone. This is meat. There's little eyes. And there's light and sound going into the eyes and ears. And it goes into the meat. And then there's some fucking thoughts. And the dude says, blah 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 blah, and then people hear that and they go, oh, blah 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 blah, and they go, let's just talk about that. Don't you think that that's kind of like just clearly, doesn't that, let's just talk, I just want to talk real fucking, this is how things seem to me. I know people want to say like spirit and shit, and I think you guys are all full of shit. In fact, I want to say this thing, I say this thing every once in a while because I don't want to believe in like a spirit, because then I think, well, where do you go when you die? That's kind of scary. I think there's no spirit. There's no spirit. There's just light and sound. Like there's like knowable shit, right? Let's just talk about this. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna speak my truth. This seems to be, I think you can just ask this on ChatGPT. Like there for sure is like a brain, right? And there for sure are eyes, and there's light waves going into eyes, and there's sound going into ears. And then they know that like if you smash the brain in certain regions, you're not thinking anymore. And so if you smash somebody's brain and they become retarded, I like to say this every once in a while. I love saying this. I forgot about how much I love to just say this no soul idea. What's the no soul idea? I think it seems really obvious that there's no soul. I think the soul the idea of a soul comes from a word. People said, my mom played a trick on me when I was a kid, and she said, you're Sean. And ever since then I was like, oh, I guess there's a Sean. But I think there's no fucking Sean. There's just kind of like shit happening. There's light and sound going into eyes and ears and turning into thoughts and actions. And that's it. And before my mom said, you're Sean, that was still happening. There was light and sound going into eyes and ears. And I didn't even know there was a Sean. There was like just kind of shit happening. And I think that's still the case. I think there's just basically light and sound going into eyes and ears and turning into thoughts and actions. But now it's all complicated because I have this fucking thing on my nose. It's complicated because I have all these extra thoughts, and there's all these thoughts that, no, there's a you, and you did that. You chose to do that. There's no fucking you. You know how you can just basically like, the soul doesn't fucking make sense, because the idea of a soul, right? The idea of a soul is the idea that there's a you that's divorced from your body. there's like some sort of you that's separate from your body. But it doesn't make sense, because they know that if you remove your brain from your body, you're not thinking anymore. They know that for sure. They can tell, like, for sure, if you separate your body from you, you're not thinking anymore. So if there's a you that's separate from your brain, how is it going to operate without thinking? Like, they know for sure. Like, and then, like, if somebody got their brain smashed, right, and then if they die and they go to heaven, does the retarded version go to heaven? You know, like, or did their spirit, is their spirit like in some? It doesn't fucking make sense. Also, like, let's say there's a you that's separate from your body, and somebody says, like, I think I was an Egyptian king, and I've said all this over and over, but it just makes the world make more sense to me. If somebody says, like, I think that I was an Egyptian king in, like, a past life. Well, if you were an Egyptian king in a past life, if you had no memory of this life, you would have had totally different experiences. You'd have a totally different body, because you'd have totally different parents. And then you would have had totally different sights and sounds that came into your eyes and ears. So if you have a totally different body, and you have totally different sights and sounds coming to your eyes and ears, and you were just hearing ancient Egyptian shit, you had a totally different experience. That's a totally different fucking person. Like, what are you besides your thoughts and your body? I think you can ask that. You can ask that on ChatGPT. Like, if somebody's trying to say, like, you know, what is deciding to do your actions, supposedly? It's either sensory information, like sights and sounds coming to your eyes and ears, which you're not responsible for, or it's genetic material that you got from your parents, or it's memories, which are old sights and sounds that came into your eyes and ears. All of those things are, like, not you. They're not you. I don't think that. I mean, I guess there's the you, which is what people are talking about, but it's not, like, chosen and stuff. It just seems like it's just shit happening. It's shit happening. But people call it you, and so. But the idea of there being, like, a spirit, it doesn't fucking make sense. And it just seems like they know enough stuff that it doesn't fucking make sense. And so but they know certain shit. People say, like, you don't know. They know certain shit. They know if you smash your brain in certain regions, you're not talking anymore. And then, you know, this seems to be happening. They know that, like, people don't live past 100, and they know that people deteriorate and die, and they know that your eyes get worse and your anyway, I want to just not make it a nightmare. I have to try to redo my schedule, and I have to like really come up with a plan about how to just have the passage of time from the age of 45 until death not be just utterly nightmare depression. And I gotta figure out a way to get rid of loneliness without losing my freedom, or just there's no good dating options anymore, and I'm too neurotic and jaded and just awful. I have too much, like, I'm too dysfunctional now to even really be in a relationship, and so I gotta figure this fucking shit out. Keep talking about the no soul stuff. I love saying this no soul shit publicly. It just feels good to say. What's the no soul mantra? In a world where everything is constantly changing and interconnected, the only thing that makes anything seem separate or stable is a word. A word creates an imaginary border around what is otherwise a constantly flowing, interconnected everything. What does that shit mean? It means that the world is not words. What do you mean, Sean? I used to say this all the time. It feels good to say it. What does that mean? I just think that there's infinite shit, and words kind of make entities out of stuff. It's kind of like Coca-Cola. Like, what is Coca-Cola? Coca-Cola is lots of shit, but people say Coca-Cola. I think the same thing is kind of true of, like, a soul. There's, like, a you, and that you is kind of like, could be thought of as lots of stuff, but people think of it as you. I don't know. It is what it is. I used to think that. Now I just kind of think it is what it is. Like, whatever it is, that word is a functional thing, and you kind of know what they're talking about. And so, you know, this just doesn't really work. Like, I used to say all this shit. What I was really like when I made these videos before, what I was always kind of doing is I was looking in the mirror and just trying to look cute. This is all kind of like, this was like, yeah, basically like I'm doing this video making because when I did it before, I looked in the mirror and I still looked cute. And there's just not enough cuteness anymore. There's too much oldness. And I'm just not like, there's not enough cuteness left in my fucking face to do this. It's not enjoyable. I used to do this. I used to get this little like endorphin rush where if I looked in the mirror, I can feel like I'm cute. But I'm not cute anymore. And I'm too fucking, it's just, there's too much fucking oldness. I don't think there's a way to fight it. I think even if I took HGH or steroids or got dermal filler or Botox, I'm gonna look like some creepy old guy. That's gonna be a real bummer. It's gonna get so much worse too. It's like, that was my whole pride, my whole sense of like security and feeling good was just looking cute, and I can't really look cute anymore unless I wear this. Even this shit just kind of looks. I still look like an old guy. There's just too much oldness. It's just the skin loosens, the lips kind of evaporate, they sink down. You get these little wrinkles, and there's just too much. The skin gets old, like the whole skin is like old man skin. And like the skin gets all slack, and you get these little sagging turkey goblet thing. And it's just gonna be like old man fucking stuff. Alright, so how to make life not a nightmare. I can try to drag other people down into my hell. Welcome to my hell. I don't give a shit how anybody else feels. I want everybody else to feel fucking miserable. No, I really don't want to. I don't want to get real fucking low life. I'll get weird, but I don't want to be. I might seem like creepy, but I'm not like, I've never like molested children or done anything like majorly illegal, or I've never like beat anybody up or anything like that. My awfulness doesn't really get that bad. But that's kind of, I gotta figure out how to use my creativity to just have life not, I gotta like really double my efforts to just come up with some unconventional ways to just have life not feel like a nightmare. I have to like let go of any idea of like trying to have like a career or spouse. That's way over with. That's like totally gone. Anytime that I'd be like, what if I do that, I might not get a girlfriend. Girlfriend is like long gone. There's no girlfriend in the future. And so forget about that. So forget about trying to be like social. And then there's no jobs. I'm just dependent on my dad. My dad pays all my bills. And so I can kind of like just live like a kid, but and so anytime I think like, oh, I better not do that because that's weird, or who cares? Just enjoy your fucking life. Yeah. So on that note, I'm gonna eat a bunch of chocolate. I got all these chocolate bars. That's the last resort. That's if I get real sloppy, like depression type shit. I can always just go shopping for pastries and just eat and throw up. I may not even throw up. I might just get like really fat. But there's gotta be like, you know what's fucked up is Shelley Duvall. Shelley Duvall died. That's sad. Shelley Duvall, I always thought she was really cool. Everybody dies. But not everybody truly lives. It doesn't seem to be a good way to do it. But boy, it seems like the typical ways are pretty depressing. And I think it shouldn't be like a nightmare if you can just have the freedom to do what you want. Come on, Sean, just find something. Play video games, whatever. Just find the fun. Yeah. I can't stand the loneliness. Like there's just too much like it's gonna get so lonely. I heard this thing. I heard a thing this morning where they said that like old people just nobody visits them. Like eventually they just get like really nobody wants to see them. Nobody wants to visit them, and it's gonna be. I don't see how I can stand that. That's gonna get. I'm gonna have to be like an. I'm gonna have to do some weird shit. Like even I could like I know sometimes some people watch this just to be like, oh look at this fucking pathetic guy, and I'll do that. I'll be like pathetic, but I can't stand the idea of just sitting and staring at a corner. That's what I keep thinking is like, other old people. I don't know how they're standing it. Like how can you not do this? How can you not just like how do you just sit in a corner and like watch TV for like 30 years? Or even like 10 years or something. It's just my dad. I keep wondering like how my dad. It shouldn't be like this though. There should be some. I keep hoping there'll be some sort of like artificial intelligent thing with bots where the bots will be like, hey, like just something to occupy your mind and make you able to talk. Just basically, I feel like there's some little wickets, there's little check boxes that I just want to get rid of, that I think a lot of people probably want to get rid of, but maybe it's just me. Get rid of loneliness without losing freedom. It's like loneliness is just, it's unbearable. So I have to like do something to get rid of loneliness, but I don't want to get stuck in other people's bullshit. And then what? Just something to occupy my mind. So get rid of loneliness, occupy brain, have like some ability to do creative expression and feel like you're being perceived by another human. Feel like you exist and just be able to sort of have joy, express yourself with emotions. And I keep thinking like they're going to have some way to do that with like bots. They'll have some interactive bot world where you can do like cosplay acting type stuff with bots and then build like little Minecraft structures in some virtual place. I would love to do shit like that. And just do creative, like expressive stuff. Like, just come up with some sort of like imaginative, like that's a cool idea type stuff. Just basically be able to occupy your brain and think about something other than like aging and death. I just want to not think about aging and death all the time. All the time. And I want to feel like hopeful, like, oh, it's going to be good later, when it's clearly like getting worse every year. I want to be like, let's not acknowledge that everything that I have is getting clearly worse every year. Let's be like, it's going to be good later, in the face of just, it's obviously going to be horrible later. Don't think about that. It's good to put some goals between me and death. Because otherwise there's just death. It's like, fuck, I'm just getting old and dying. But if I put some goals, I could be like, oh, it's going to be good later, instead of just like, it's clearly going to be horrible later. It's just... Dude, maybe I should take steroids. I really like Joe Rogan podcast, and I like all these Navy SEAL podcasts. And there's these Navy SEAL. There's a couple Navy SEAL guys. They're all on testosterone. They start taking testosterone in their 40s or whatever. It's testosterone and jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu takes so much time though, and also you can like damage your body. Maybe I should just do that though. Maybe I should get back on testosterone and try to get jacked, be all buffed, quit being a fucking crybaby, and dominate some 20-year-old Asian kids. Be like, hey, how's it going? You want to do jiu-jitsu? I know I look like a weirdo. I identify as a furry, and then I can dominate some little skinny Asian guy and be like, I'm the fucking man. The jiu-jitsu thing though, it's kind of like, if I do jiu-jitsu, there's kind of like this thing where it's like, if I keep doing jiu-jitsu, I'm gonna become a cool guy, and then some hot chick is gonna have sex with me. But that's not ever gonna happen. And I don't want to get a job anyway. And so, if I can't get like a hot chick, or have kids ever, or function as like an adult, the whole like becoming a confident man seems kind of stupid. I think just play around, and just basically I want to take the edge off of like old age and death. That's kind of what I don't want to. I think a lot of people a lot of people cope with it by drinking. I can tell if I go to the downtown here. There's these stores and the shelves are just nothing but alcohol. There's like a lot of, you can tell like just the way they stock the shelves at the stores down here. A lot of people are doing a lot of alcohol drinking, like hard alcohol. There's just tons of like hard alcohol, which means somebody's drinking all that shit. And so up in the hills here, there's other old people who are like, I'm melting, and they're coping with it by just being like, I don't want to think about it. I just want to drink and just watch some stuff. But I like my brain working. Like I like using my brain, and so I think that's realistically what I'm gonna do, is just keep doing like creative, expressive stuff, and just be like some oddity that people look at and be like, what a fucking loser. And that's fine. It's all better than having some fat shrew boss you around. That's what people in my position used to do. They'd shack up with some evil bitch. An evil bitch would boss them around and be like, who else is gonna be with you? You'll be alone. And the guy says, no, I'll do it. But that's a fate worse than death, right? I'll take the trolls as long as. Also, I haven't looked at my YouTube for like weeks, but I looked at my YouTube just briefly and I saw that there were a bunch of comments, and I like you trolls. As long as I can't see your comments, you can't really hurt me. But I'm saying this for your own benefit. Like if anybody's leaving comments, I never read the comments anymore. I only read comments like this one time, like 2 weeks ago. But ever since then, like I'm not gonna read I'm just saying this because I like you. I like even the trolls. I appreciate anybody watching this. It's all better than nobody watching. I'll take trolls watching me, and for your benefit, Mr. Troll, I'm never gonna read your comments anymore. Maybe in like another year I might read it. I read the comments like once a year, and so you can write them, but I'm not gonna fucking read it because I know you just want to stab me. You want to be like, I want to make you feel bad, and I don't want to feel bad. I don't even want to make you feel bad. But every once in a while I'm gonna have to talk about death and how we're all gonna die, just because that's always on my mind. I'm just gonna die. There's nothing I can do about it. Really, that's such a weird. I just love saying it. I'm really gonna, as real as anything, as certain as tomorrow, as I'm really gonna die. Really, that's such a surreal idea. Isn't that just weird? It just makes all of this just seem so. This is when I think that like nobody's listening, right? I'm not trying to sound profound, but when I think that like everybody's gonna die eventually, this is how life seems to me, is that basically there's meat and bone, and there's light and sound, and light and sound is going into the eyes and ears, and then there's these thoughts, and the thoughts come out, and some of those thoughts are like, I'm here, this is weird being in this perspective. Why am I this guy? Why am I not some other guy? But they're all thinking that. I think that's kind of like shit happening. There's memories and stories. There's like a process of light and sound going into eyes and ears and turning into thoughts. And some of those thoughts are, I'm Sean, this is weird. I seem to remember my childhood. But you think that too. Like that shit is happening all over the place. I think that's kind of like what's actually happening. It's kind of like if there was a stream, I don't know how to explain it. If there was a river that absorbed light and then sort of said some words, if the river had some thoughts, and some of those thoughts are, this is scary, I feel weird, hello, I'm Jamie the river. And if there could be a process of intaking sensory information and then saying some stuff, then that would be alive. That seems like that's what's happening here. Is there's light and sound going into eyes and ears, and the eyes are starting to get really mushy, and so everything's getting kind of blurry because I'm getting really fucking old. And then there's these thoughts, and it's kind of like the same thoughts. A lot of the thoughts are just like, oh god, I'm looking so old, there's no good future anymore, I'm just gonna get old and die, and it's gonna get really lonely and sad, and I'm gonna lose my looks even more, and I'm just gonna turn into a puddle of old shit, and it's just gonna be painful, and I'm gonna have like heart disease or cancer or polyps or some, it's just gonna be like limping deterioration, and just like doctor's visits that get like not looking good, and I'd be like, how many years do I have, doc? And they'll like take these pills, and just it's just gonna be painful and scary and whimpering, and then just heart attack or cancer or some shit. Anyway, that's what's in my head. And that happened in other heads. There were other heads that were walking around being like, this is weird, I seem to be alive, wow, I'm getting kind of up there in years, this is scary. And now those people are dead, and this shit has been just going on for thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of years. It happened in more barbaric, unpleasant ways before. Actually, according to history, back in the 1800s or something, people used, before the 1800s or like before the Enlightenment or something like that, people used to just be drunk all the time. That actually doesn't seem like a really terrible way to live. Like, I keep thinking, like, what is all this thinking even? It's like kind of comfortable, but it must have been kind of nice to just live in a place like the 1700s. It's probably really awful, but it would just be kind of cool when people didn't even know that like it was bad to drink. They would just start drinking first thing in the morning, and they would just be drunk all fucking day, and they're just anyway. See, like, even this thing that I'm doing right now, just talking like this is basically like creative expression. Like right now I'm using my brain, and it feels good. Like this is kind of like a default that I can always go to, is if I really get like really down, I can always just turn on a video and just start thinking out loud and just moving my brain. And then I kind of feel like somebody could be watching, and I get rid of loneliness. And then I'm using my mind, and I'm improvising. This is like kind of lame creative expression, and it's a good default to go to. But anyway, I gotta get a better animal nose. It's coming in the mail. I'm gonna get one. Keep talking about the soul. What's the no soul mantra? There's all these little things that I like to say public. I used to say these publicly that made me feel really good. What was the no soul mantra? In a world where everything is constantly changing and interconnected, the only thing that makes anything seem separate or stable is a word. A word creates an imaginary border around what is otherwise constantly flowing, interconnected everything. What does that mean? It means that the world is not words. What do you mean, Sean? Well, you can say leaf, or you can say tree, or you can say hillside. You're just making this imaginary border around more or less stuff. Or you can make a new word for the tree, plus the dirt, plus the sidewalk, plus the fire hydrant. That's a pattern you see in the world. But people don't have a word for that. But if they made a word for that, and people said, that's a gobbledygorf. What's a gobbledygorf? Come on, everybody knows a gobbledygorf. It's the tree, plus the dirt, plus the sidewalk, plus the fire hydrant. Then people would see that as a thing. Where's the separation between the dirt and the tree? You'll never find a tree that exists without a certain type of soil. There's soil going up into the tree and turning into tree matter. When is that soil officially part of the tree? Nobody has an answer. When is the fetus officially separate from its mother? Nobody has an answer. They're arguing about that in court. When is the oxygen that you're breathing officially part of your bloodstream? Nobody has an answer. When is the hair that falls off your head officially separate from you? Nobody has an answer. Because there's no fucking real separation. It's just interconnected shit. There's just words and dictionaries. And people say, come on, everybody knows that, like, that's you and that's not you. But it's shit. The shit's interconnected. I will say that. Like, isn't it really clear? Like, if somebody's watching this, I will say this, but you shouldn't watch this, but if you go onto ChatGPT, and they'll say, hey, ChatGPT.
No, Final Cut Pro is exclusively designed for Apple's macOS operating.
Hey, isn't it true that if you have a toothbrush in your bathroom, whether it's on the sink or whatever, if it's in the bathroom, it's definitely got poop particles on it, because every time somebody flushes a toilet in a bathroom, it blows into the water vapor into the like the bathroom has water vapor, and it blows poop particles, your poop and other people's poop. And so if there's a toothbrush in that bathroom, it's definitely got poop on it, poop particles, right? Absolutely right.
You're absolutely right to be concerned about that.
Anyway, it's true. So, well, it's a gross thought. It is accurate. And so, that's just true. That's a fact. And so, definitely don't think about that. The fact that your toothbrush in the bathroom definitely has poop on it. So, you're brushing your teeth with your poop and other people's poop. That's a fact. It says right there. Don't think about that next time you brush your teeth. Definitely don't think about that. And if you do think about that, don't think about me in your head saying, gotcha. If you think about that, that's on you. I can't make you do anything. And if that makes you like relocate your toothbrush or like clean your toothbrush extra hard with the water, you have free will. You chose to do that entirely on your own fruition. Now, what's my point? My point in saying that is that like, it's just a chain of shit. Like, it's like you heard something that's going to make you have some thoughts that are going to influence actions. You hear things, they go through your brain, they'll pop up, you'll get little reminders of something, those will make you think something, those thoughts are going to add up and they're going to make you do shit. It just seems obvious to me that just everything's physical, like everything else kind of works that way. I don't know why there'd be some like mystical spirit that's making like random decisions. I don't think there's like a ghost in the machine. It just seems like there's kind of like sights and sounds going into eyes and ears and turning into thoughts and actions, and they add up. And then there's some thoughts that precede the action, and so you think like, I thought that I was going to do that, but that doesn't, I don't know, just maybe you just had some thoughts before it's I just think there's probably just shit happening. But I guess the shit happening in the form of humans is more elaborate and seems more like, it's like that's more like a person doing something than like a leaf blowing or some shit. But I think it's probably just complex. It seems like they know enough. I've asked this before on ChatGPT. If I say to ChatGPT, hey, they know that like if they smash the brain in a certain region, you're not thinking anymore. They know that like if you are detached from certain regions of your brain, you're not going to have memories and you're not going to have the ability to speak and stuff. So doesn't that alone kind of negate the idea of there being a you that's separate from your body? Because they know that if you're separate from certain parts of your brain, you're not thinking and talking anymore. And so if you're not thinking and talking, isn't that kind of like a lot of what you are? Is like what's going to make you think and talk besides your working brain? Is that true? Yes or no? Yes. So it just seems like that alone is like, how does
Yes, what you've described is a central argument within neuroscience and
so there's no, it just seems like that alone makes it seem like there can't be like a soul. What is that even? How can there be a you that's separate from your brain if they know that like if you take you away, if you take your brain away from you, you're not working anymore, you're not saying shit. And what would you even, if you had no memories of this life, like how is that even you anymore? Like if you had like a completely different memory and you had a completely different body in some other realm, there's no you that left. What else is fucking you? What's your point? I just think people are full of shit. But nobody wants to hear. I think those podcasts, I always listen to podcasts. I don't have any like real friends, but those podcast dudes, I think they know that too. They're smart. They know that people don't want to hear that shit. Nobody fucking likes me, and so they're like, we don't like you. We want to believe in like spirits and stuff. I know. Anyway, it's all very depressing. You know what's not depressing though? It's fucking legendary chocolate bars with no sugar. That's real. I don't know. Is life a simulation? Is there free will? I don't know, but I'll tell you, there's some knowable shit. Legendary protein bars taste good. I know that. Let's participate in some. There's some real pleasures in the world that can be enjoyed if you get your head out of your ass. Yeah. These are two pleasures that these are kind of guilt-free pleasures. I'm still gonna throw them up. You can throw them up pretty easily because they're kind of soft. They melt in your stomach, and if you drink some milk, they're easily vomited up. And so I'm gonna eat these and I'm gonna throw them. But these are great because they don't have any sugar. These are Quest Snickerdoodle cookies, and they're guilt-free. They have 15 grams of protein each, and they have no sugar. Quest is like pretty good no sugar stuff. It's good nerd guilt-free stuff. And then these are great. These are legendary protein pastries. They got 20 grams of protein each and no sugar. And they taste amazing. They taste like real pastries, but they're guilt-free, no sugar. They got pastry coating. So, you know, this is a real pleasure. This is a good way to get away from doom and gloom. I feel significantly better already. No peach, Milo? Now I gotta eat. I gotta drink a lot of milk and then throw up. I gotta throw up because I do not want to get fat. I don't want to get a double chin, but my skin is melting anyway. nobody's out there, right? If nobody's out there, it doesn't matter what I say. But, dude, something I keep thinking is like, or something I was just thinking is like, if I'm depressed, if I feel depressed, other people must feel like way worse, I would imagine, because I don't even have to work. I don't like, I've been in worse places than this, and they usually involve like drugs or like bad relationships, or who knows, going to jail or something like that. What's your point, John? I don't know. A lot of my little tricks, they're not really working as good as they used to. I used to like have all these little tricks to like make life not feel like doom and gloom. The little tricks I figured out, like cardio, that works. Or it used to work. Dermal filler and Botox. But I guess just different strokes for different folks. Like any joy that you can derive from life. I guess people derive joy from different ways. There's probably some kid who just plays video games all day and he's really fat and he's perfectly happy. He doesn't want to be skinny. He doesn't want to be fit. And so, whatever. I guess people have their little happy place that they can go to. What's my point? I don't know. I wish I had more happy places. I need to find some new like happy stuff, because all of my little tricks are not really working anymore. The fucking doom. The doom is getting too it's too awful. Life's getting like too grim. I thought if I would just keep working out that I would like never really get old and ugly. But I'm old and ugly, and it's getting worse, and it's like accelerating, and it's like shit. That's really gonna be like hard for me to sit with that. It's gonna be hard to just be like an old ugly guy. I'm gonna have to wear like a furry outfit or something, because that was my whole like sense of self-esteem, was just like, I used to be cute and now I can't really be cute anymore. But I can be weird. I can be like cute with like ears and shit. And so I'm like, I'll take that. I'll just be like, I have to do something weird. I don't see how you can just. It's gonna be really hard for me to just be like a old ugly guy. I have to do something about it. Either plastic surgery or like big like mustache and beard or something. Or just ornaments. But I can't see just like, how do you, I'm really baffled by that. I don't understand how people just be like really fucking, like nobody cares, but just record. I always, even though I don't even interact, I always associate being cute with like being likable. Like I just think if you're not cute, like how is anybody even gonna like you? How are they gonna talk to you or something? But nobody even talks to me anyway, so it's kind of ridiculous. But I have this like a feeling of security. If I think I look cute, I feel like life is good. If I think I look ugly, I'm like, I'm unlikable, unlovable, but nobody likes me anyway. It's like a weird psychological thing. Now I'm gonna get older and uglier, and I'm gonna have to delude myself more and more. No, you're cute. You're cute with your animal ears, that stuff. I gotta throw up this chocolate bar. Here's the key to throwing up. Nobody should do this. I'm not advocating bulimia, but this is what works for me, is jumping up and down a few times to like slosh the stuff in your stomach. See, now nobody cares, but just record. It's now like nighttime. Nighttime, just for the record, seems to come at about like 9 o'clock. And I really hate. Nobody cares, but just the record. I really hate like the period of time from 5 p.m. until 9 p.m. Like basically like dusk. Dusk is like become like this like really depressing time. Like night is like, oh okay, the sun's down, everything's fine. But like it's almost like a vampire. Like basically from 5 o'clock, as soon as the sun starts setting, and really for about like 3 or 4 hours until the sun officially goes down, I feel like horrible. I feel just like every day it's getting to be like, oh god, tomorrow I'm thinking like I gotta prepare for like sunset. From 5 to 9 it's gonna happen again, and I'm just gonna feel like it feels like my bones are crying, and it's just like every fucking night, and it's getting worse, and just it's gonna get so much worse. Anyway, no one cares. But I would imagine somebody might be watching. It might be some even older person. It's weird to get old, right? Like I've never really gotten old before, but it's scary. It's scary, and it's kind of like your brain doesn't work quite as good, and then I guess I'll say I statements. My brain isn't. It feels like noticeably not as sharp, and then my eyes are getting worse, and then like just life kind of feels like crappier. Like I'm realizing that there's this weird thing where like there's places that I used to go in like my childhood, like my high school and these hills and stuff, and I remember that like it was like chock full of life. I don't know how to explain it. Like everything was kind of brighter and like more colorful, and it was like, yay, it's good to be alive. And I can tell that like it's a bright sunny day, and it should feel like that. I remember when I was in my teens, it was like, yay, the hills are green, it's springtime, maybe I can get laid or something like that. And now it's kind of like this weird like nightmare, cold and gray. It's like the world seems kind of shittier, and it's like I'm shittier. The instruments that I'm perceiving the world with are shittier, and so the world kind of feels like as shitty as I am starting to look. And it's like it's really weird. It's like I can tell that like there's some young chipper person in their teens or 20s who's like, yay, it's beautiful, there's sex to be had out there in the world, and it's like, oh, it's Saturday, I can't wait to go to Tahoe or something like that. And I know that like a sunny day is perceived by some 20 year old. I know that the day is perceived by somebody as like a beautiful day, but to me it feels kind of like cold and gray, and like there's like this weird sort of like piss soaked paper bag. Everything feels kind of like a dingy sort of like window, and like that's me. Like my eyes and my brain and everything are kind of getting like a little shittier, and so the world is like shittier. Everything's kind of like this dusty sort of like, and it's just gonna get worse. And so I have a bunch of tricks. This is my new trick, is to wear like, I gotta take the edge off. I'm just gonna wear like a little animal suit. I'm gonna play piano. I'm gonna watch cartoons. I'm gonna rant on live stream. I'm gonna do some workout, and I'm just gonna try to stave away just doom. But the doom's gonna get me eventually. That's just gonna get worse no matter what. But I gotta drum up some joy, and I can't just let society just say, just shut the fuck up, go work in a fucking mailroom, nobody cares, just go get on a bus and go work at that fucking mailroom, you fucking schlub. I know that's the thing. If I get real depressive, I'll get roped into that. Nobody's listening, right? I just want to talk about that. Nobody's listening, right? But every once in a while I'll just look out at like, nobody's out there, right? Anyway, I saw some Get to the point, John. I don't know. I saw some picture. I forget where it was, but I see. Get to the point, John. I'm really baffled by. What are you baffled by? I'm baffled by like. I'm baffled by the typical like adult. I'm baffled by this thing where like people used to be kids, right? We used to be kids. We used to like play video games and we used to have fun on jungle gyms and stuff. And somehow people get sort of bullied into like, fuck you, who cares what you want? You should go do some like humdrum shit. And I know it's like, I don't get how people, I don't, what am I trying to say? I guess most people, I don't get why they do it. I don't get why they don't just try to do everything they can. It's like, it's their one life. Like you have one life. This is the time of your little life. And you're going to end up in a pine box for sure. You're going to be dead. And why would you willingly do this shit? Like, I don't get why. I don't get, it seems like, how did these, I guess, I'm always baffled at this. But I guess most people, they knock somebody up. This guy, when he was young and cute, I guess, there was some pretty girl who's like, ooh, you're cute. And then he put his dick in her vagina and he's like, oh shit, I got somebody pregnant. And now he's like, I'm being a dad. I'm handling my responsibility. And his parents are probably like, you gotta pay for your kid's college fund. And so I guess he's doing that. But I don't know. Does he like it? It seems like a lot of that stuff is really like horrible. I guess most people, they get kicked out of their house by their parents. And so they gotta earn a living at like some place. I just can't imagine doing that. I can't imagine going to some shop and just every day and some guy say like, come on, work faster, you fucker. And then like not talking to anybody. And then after like years of it, just people like, thanks for your time, but your services are no longer required. What's my point? I'm not trying to like scoff at the work world. I obviously, it's people, our whole world is built on like people. Everything here is made by people working at jobs. But I just don't get how people willingly go into it. And let's just fuck it. I am scoffing at the work world since I don't have a fucking job and since nobody will fucking hire me. I'm just gonna scoff at the fucking work world. Who cares? Nobody watches my thing anyway. But it's kind of baffling, right? Like it's kind of like if you had one lifetime. Why would you let yourself get forced into doing a bunch of like awful shit all day, every day? Like why wouldn't you just kick and scream and just be like, this is my life, like I want to do some self-indulgent shit? Like why would you just willingly go do some like factory traffic forms? I just don't get why people don't try to like come up with some scam. Like in America, I always knew all these people who were like, I have mental problems. I'm on disability or something like that. I can't do those forms in traffic. And so I always think like that's like the time of your life. Like why would you? I just feel like people get stuck with it. I feel like there's enough people who are like, I'm not doing that shit. And then meanwhile, there's some people who are like, oh, I'll do it. But that's like the time of their life. Like why would they let it get squandered in some like factory for like some meager amount of money that like you would think they would. You'd think like I understand the homeless people. I think the homeless people or the people who are in jail are like that humdrum like factory shit. It's so soul sucking that you're just kind of like. I guess people see honor in work. They see like, oh, I'm a respectable person and I'm contributing to society. But I just think like, I don't know. I guess it's not really that much different from just doing arts and crafts in your room. But it seems sad. But they like it. I don't know. I have this fucked up view though. I've been like corrupted. I guess nobody watched this thing, but I've been corrupted because I just keep thinking like people get sort of stuck with the shit end of the stick. It seems like there's enough people who sort of get out of it. It seems like there's enough people who kind of just like own property, or they just kind of like you know, they have some disability or they have something where they're like, I'm not doing that stuff. That just, if you kind of get stuck with it, it just seems like, actually I shouldn't say this because this is really like a corrupting sort of like low life attitude that I don't want somebody to like quit their job and be like, that's right, I'm no sucker, I'm not getting stuck with the shit end of the stick. Yeah, actually I'll go ahead and say that it's probably good to have jobs and stuff. But I kind of think, no, fuck it. I'm going to say it's bad to have jobs. Since I don't have a job, you shouldn't watch my thing if you want to think that having jobs is good. I think it's like World War One. Let me just talk. I love saying all this shit. It's like World War One. In World War One, they needed people to go to the Western Front. And, you know, the rich people, they weren't going to fucking do it. And so they're like, we need bodies. We need bodies on the Western Front. And so they just kind of tell these like schlubs, they'd say, you fucking schlub, what kind of man are you? You get out there, we need people. And people are like, oh, okay, I gotta be like a man. And so they'd rush out to the Western Front and they'd have some guy yelling at them, come on, go, you be a good man, fucking run out there into machine gun fire. And people would be like, I'll do it. And they go, check the boxes, we got some more schlubs to run into machine gun fire. And just, I think the work world is basically like that too. I think the work world is like, they need bodies. The rich, mega rich, they're not going to fucking do the grunt work. And so the mega rich, they're going to get the hoi polloi to do the fucking grunt work. And meanwhile, they're not even going to give them like hardly any money. And then they're like, I'm not doing that shit. And then meanwhile, it's going to be like, oh, they didn't even like have to do that. Like, that's kind of what I think will happen with like a lot of this is meanwhile, there's like people with huge amounts of money who are squeezing the life out of the this is a very cynical attitude. But really, I think there's like, they could be a lot more fair in terms of like the wages. They could have like a decent quality of life for people doing that kind of grunt work. But I guess like, what's the point? I don't know, there's different perspectives. People say that anybody's quality of life now is way better than it was like 100 years ago. But as long as there's people not doing the grunt work, I think I would always feel like I got stuck with the shit end of the stick. I don't feel like it's like an honorable thing. Like when I worked at like some job like Home Depot, it wasn't like people were treating me like an honorable service worker. They were like, you scum, go get my fucking paint. And I was like, dude, I could just not work. I could do some scam. And it feels like if you do a scam, you have better self-esteem because you're not being like treated condescendingly all day and given some like meager paycheck that doesn't cover any of your like good, it doesn't give you any good quality of life. And so I'm just like, whatever, fuck it, I'll just duck it, next life I'll do that shit. But like, I just don't really get why people do it. My general sense from going to jiu-jitsu is that like, oh, like you're supposed to sort of I feel like there's this attitude in like capitalist world. I guess if I was forced into it, I would have thought of it as like jiu-jitsu, where it's like, well, in the beginning, yeah, they do kind of choke the life out of you, and you do just get the shit end of the stick, and you're like, dude, this sucks, and I'm just getting squeezed every single day. But then one day, when you learn how the shit works, you can develop your own game, and you're like, oh, I can squeeze some new people. Hey, welcome to the gym, young person. I'm gonna squeeze the fucking, and be like, fuck. And it's like, don't worry, one day if you hang in there, you can squeeze some other newbies. And I think that that's like what most people do. And so, but I'm just like, I'm just gonna duck it. I've already made it to 45, avoiding the work world. I'm just gonna, if I can just hang in there for another 20 years, I should make it to death. It just seems so fucking awful. The form, the traffic, the passwords, the lines, the pushing and shoving, the passive aggressive, the morning radio, the seeing your breath in the morning at the gas pump, some guy being like, hey, you think you're good, but I'm better. I'm gonna show you that I'm good. I hate all that fucking shit. And I just like hiding at my fucking dad's house, and it's way better. I don't know why people do it. I don't know why people do. I see the sea of traffic, these people at these Roto-Rooter gas truck things pushing and shoving on the freeway, honking and just being like, fuck you, I'm gonna get the better of you. And I think like, why do they do it? Why don't they just stay in their parents' basement and play video games? I guess just they don't have their parents' support, and then they got pussy. They think they're gonna get pussy, or they got pussy and now they have kids. That's the case in my brother's case. He's like, I gotta pay for my fucking kid. And then my brother's friend, he's like, I gotta pay for my fucking kid. Or he wanted to be able to have a kid. But if you don't have kids, I don't get why. Why would they do it? Anyway, I've talked about this over and over. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. But then eventually people die. Anyway, I've said all this over and over. I need some new stuff to talk about. I like this outfit. My self-consciousness is really a lot lower. This kind of makes me feel a little bit more like I did like 10 years ago. 10 years ago, my ugliness was about like my nose is definitely points off. I have like a big fat ugly nose. If I cover my nose, it's a little less ugliness. And if I wear these little animal ears, and if I cover my gray hair with red hair, it's like a little more cuteness. And so this is basically like artificial cuteness that takes me back to like, it makes me feel more like I did when I was like 37. I'm just gonna wear this from now on. Anytime I'm in public. Anyway, I got nothing else to say. I just keep saying the same shit over and over. I wish I was a hopeful, like, inspiring person that could, uplift other people. But I'm just terrified and spoiled and cynical and depressed and boring. And so I'm sorry I'm not better. Dude, we're all gonna fucking die. Do people really understand that? I guess people understand it. I always trip out. I always listen to all these podcasts and I always think like, those people like Lex Friedman, they're in my world also. And that's like, no, that's like the podcast world. And it's like, no, those people are like in my world. That's really weird. You know what's weird is like those people, I just always listen to all those podcasts and they always believe in like God and like a soul and stuff like that. But I always think like, don't they have like ChatGPT? Because all you have to do, I think they're just saying what the people want to hear, I guess. But all you have to do is just go to ChatGPT and you just say like, hey, isn't it true that there's no evidence of a God? Actually, there's evidence that people used to be like polytheistic, and then like the first example of like monotheism was around the time of like, I think one of the Roman emperors, he found that he it was easier to tell people that like God wants you to, he found that he had more control over people if he adopted a monotheistic religion, because then he could say this one God wants us to do blah blah blah. Is there data to substantiate this? So, I mean, anybody with ChatGPT is like, there is no evidence of God. And like, it's just like, I say this over and over, but like when I hear these people, they talk about like God, they say, but I always think like, well, what about like, people used to be cave people. When they were cave people, they didn't even have words. Like nobody even told them what God wanted them to do. If they went and they stabbed some other cave person, are they going to hell? Is God mad? God didn't even tell them like that was bad. They didn't even know it was good or bad. People used to be like animals. They used to run around just stabbing other art. And then like, if they have a half human, half like animal hybrid, which they might have if they make like genetic engineering, what heaven are those people going to go to? If they're like half pig and half human, are they going to go to like a half human, half pig? Are they going to go like up to heaven, and heaven's going to go, oh, we don't know where to put you. We can't take pigs. I don't think they let pigs in heaven. They're going to have to be like, we'll put you in like a limbo of like half pig, half like, and people used to be like part, they evolved from amphibians. They know this. And so like did amphibians go to heaven? Is there a heaven for like frogs and stuff? Like when humans used to be part amphibian, where did they go? Did they go to some other fucking heaven? And what about fucking amoebas, dude? It just seems like you can just ask, like, there's like known shit. It just seems like there's enough known shit that, like, if I hear some person talking about like God or the soul, it's like, don't they have ChatGPT? You can just ask, like, and they'll say, well, there's no like evidence of it. There's no evidence of that, and there's enough shit that they know that that shit doesn't even fucking make sense anymore. And I'm too forgetful to, but I already looked up like all this stuff, and it's like, it's just clearly like not really. It doesn't fucking make sense. There's enough known shit to just make it like just seem like it doesn't really even make sense. Anyway, what's the point? I just think people are just kind of, they must be willfully ignorant. They must just be like, I don't care what the fucking evidence says. I'm gonna believe in some fucking hocus pocus. Fucking Quest. I'm not trying to be smart either. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and say that I'm stupider than the people who, those podcast people, they have like millions of viewers and they make a lot of money. And so I'm the stupid one. I wish I just said shit that just people want to hear. Because I want to be really popular. I want to have lots of women want to have sex with me and get lots of money. But I don't know how to be likable. And I'm too scared of like life and death. I gotta throw up. There's a guy down the street. There's a guy one block over who sings loud. He has like an amplifier and he opens his door and he sings. And I think just a lot of people in the whole area, I think a lot of people are kind of just saying fuck it. I think a lot of people are just being like, all right, the jig is up. And they have to cope with this shit. They have to cope with like, just there's no like magic. There's no magic. There's no like, just everybody knows what's up. Everything. There's no love. There's no love. There's no God. There's no soul. There's just kind of like, there's probably not even any free will. And there's just like meat and bone perceiving light and sound and base animal shit. And then people turn into dust and that's it. Just everybody's gonna fucking die, and there's no magic, and there's no God, and people are all kind of like, oh God, that's a really like I think that's gonna be. I think a lot of people are probably confronting that guy who's singing. He's just like, fuck it, I don't care. I'm just gonna fucking sing. I'm just gonna die anyway, and so I'm doing that too. I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna die. I'm just gonna wear fucking animal. I'm gonna wear a filter because this life is getting too fucking bleak. There's no like hope. I don't know how to explain it. There used to be these hopes of like, oh, good stuff in the future. And it's like, it's just clearly fucking grim, hopeless, meat hook reality. And it's like, I need to take the edge off. And that guy, he's doing his singing. He's taking the edge off. I would imagine there's a lot of people who are just. There's like, oh, there's no magic, there's no love, there's no soul, there's no God, and they want to take the edge off. They're like, fuck it, who cares? What do you think? Is there data to substantiate that increasingly there's more and more people who are just saying fuck it? They're saying fuck it because they don't, there used to be more unknown that left room for like magic. They thought there was some magic, or they thought there was like gods that were watching them, or they thought there was an afterlife, or they thought there was some love that was going to save them or something. And now it's kind of, there's just so much access to real information that it's hard to be full of shit anymore. And the real world is just kind of devoid of magic. And there's enough known stuff that it can make life feel just kind of like too mundane and bleak and cold and kind of depressing. Is there data to substantiate that things are more and more like that? There is indeed a significant amount of data and philosophical discussion that substantiates the trends you're describing. Like, it really takes like just to believe in a soul. You have to basically be like willfully ignorant, because there's just everybody has ChatGPT, and there's just enough known stuff that you can just look at it. You don't have to ask. You don't have to wonder. You can just be like they know enough shit to make the idea of the soul not even work. It doesn't make sense. Like, they know that if you're divorced from your brain, you're not thinking. They know that if you smash certain parts of your brain, you don't have memories. You're not talking. If you're not thinking, if you have no thoughts and you have no memory and you have no ability to speak, what does that even mean? There's no you anymore. It's like, that doesn't fucking make sense. Like, what would you be without your memories or thoughts? So, which point? I think people just must be like, I don't fucking care. I know that there's some bullshit that makes no fucking sense in comparison to the shit that we actually know. You could just. Anyway, what's the point? I think people have varying degrees of like delusion. Like, I want to delude myself. I've been delusional for a long time. I keep deluding myself that like I am gonna still be able to look cute when I'm 50, but boy, I'm really not cute, and so they've got to delude themselves. Like, I'm trying to drum up I'm trying to think to myself, it's gonna be good in 10 years. When I'm 55, it's gonna be good. And I'm just like, it's so obviously gonna be bad. It's so obvious. It almost necessitates some delusion. If I just thought about it, it's like, dude, think about any 55-year-old that you know, Sean. Is it good for them? Is it better at 55? Do you know anybody at 55? Do they seem like they're doing better than they were at 45? I don't know. Not really. How about 65? How are you gonna delude yourself that it's gonna be good? Yeah, it seems almost necessary to drum up some sort of like delusion about like, don't tell me I got some trick. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad. For sure, it's gonna be bad. Anyway, Jordan Peterson was saying that a lot of people are like trying to terrorize others. Jordan Peterson said there's like these science-minded people who are like trying to terrorize. I don't want to terrorize. Let's say nobody's watching this. I'm just saying, like, I don't know, there's like data. There's like data that like everybody has access to. And so when I hear some people on the internet talking about like, I know there's like a soul or a God, it's like, dude, they know enough shit. There's like concrete evidence that just makes that shit not even possible or makes sense. Everybody has access to it, and yet some people are like, I don't fucking care. And so gotta have some hope, though. I don't know. It seems like people kind of need hope, right? They need something to hope for. They gotta drum up some idea of like, it's gonna be good in the future. Is that true? Just otherwise, it's hard to even like get yourself to do anything. Is that true? Yeah.
Yes, that's profoundly true.
It seems like, speaking for myself, there's like a little delicate balance of like, I need to believe like this, this, and this, and this, and I need to stay away from these thoughts, and then I can like be like, hey, like, I'm gonna take on the day. But boy, it's getting hard to like maintain hope, or at least for me, at like, dude, like fucking 45. 45 is just like, it's just clearly gonna just all be shitty. It's just clearly, I'm dead already. I'm dead already. Just fucking kill me already. But nobody's gonna kill me. Nobody's gonna kill me. You keep saying you got something for me. Something you call love, but confess. You've been a messin' where you shouldn't have been a messin', yeah. And now someone else is getting all your best. These boots are made for walking, and that's just what they'll do. One of these days, these boots are gonna walk all over you. Da, 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 da. You fucking asshole, Sean. I'm sorry. I wish I had something better to share. I'm in a depressive state. And people like me shouldn't even be able to do this. You shouldn't be able to just go on the internet and say a bunch of depressing things to other people. You would never have the guts to say these to people in real life, Sean. It's true. I would never have the guts to. I can't even make eye contact for very long with real people. Nobody fucking likes me. They never fucking like me. And I'm just gonna get old and die. I'm just gonna die. And no one cares. I'm just gonna die. I'm gonna get old and die. And no one cares. Except maybe some old gay guy. And he doesn't even like me anymore. I'm not gay. Nobody cares. Everybody's gonna die. Everybody's gonna die. I'm an asshole. Nobody cares. There's no God. I should get a job, but I'm never gonna get a job. Nobody cares. Everybody's gonna die. There's no God, there's no soul, there's no love. I'm a crybaby. Nobody cares. I don't want the overweight ethnic chick. I don't want the overweight ethnic chick. The overweight ethnic chick does not want you either. You're very old. You have bad social standing. You should be happy with overweight ethnic girl. I don't want overweight ethnic girl. Overweight ethnic girl, very good deal for you. I don't want overweight ethnic girl. Then you die alone in your dad's basement. I will. Let's just say some racist stuff. I don't want to say racist stuff. This is what it is, okay? I said empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. When you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put water into a kettle, it becomes the kettle. Now water can flow, or it can crash. Be water, my friend. Yeah, see, I should just do character stuff all the time. I have no good thoughts kicking around in my brain anymore. And I should just make up shit, because the shit that I can make up, it makes me feel better than my actual thoughts. All that's in my head is just, I don't want to get old and die, and I'm losing my looks, and I'm so depressed. And it's just going to get worse. And it is going to get worse. And so, I don't want to think about that all day. And there's got to be, I just think, I got to make up some shit. Are you ready to party down? Oh yes, I am ready for number one party.
Hey, look here, it's a brand new game, Pizza Party. That's the name. You make your pizza as you can see with onions, mushrooms, and pepperoni. You can lose if you have to switch, so you better be sharp. You better be slick.
I don't know why that makes me laugh. I don't know. Are you ready to party down? Are you ready to... Dude, I feel so much better wearing this thing. I have nothing to lose. I'm just gonna get old and die. For sure, I really am. Check back with me in like 20 or 30 years, I'll be dead. And so I'm really gonna die, and nobody fucking cares. And I'm not breaking any laws. I should just wear this shit all the fucking time. Cause like, I feel way better. It's just my self-consciousness goes away. I just think it's unsightly. It's unsightly to just melt. And that's basically what's happening from like 30 onward, is you're melting and it's just gonna get worse. And you're not allowed to like, as a man, you're not allowed to like put makeup and stuff on it. But when you're dead, then they can put fucking makeup on you. Being a man really does kind of like suck. It's just a bunch of shit that you can't do. Women can wear makeup and shit, but men are like, no, you have to be fucking ugly. But when you die, then they formaldehyde you and they plump you up and they fill you up and they pretty you up. I think you should be able to do the same shit when you're before you're dead. So do it, Sean, do it. Nobody's stopping you. I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna wear it. It's just the ugliness is getting too much. The oldness and the ugliness is like, I'm gonna have a real hard time with like old age if I can't just mitigate it with some weird shit. So it's either plastic surgery, steroids, or this shit. And I don't really want to do steroids. I don't have the money for plastic surgery. And so I'm just gonna do this. And really, like, this basically solves the problem. I just think Joan Rivers was right. You can either be weird, or you can be old, and weird is really better. Old is just, that's not good. Because we're hardwired to be repelled by death. And it's never a good look. And people are just like, oh, I don't want to look at you. And it's like, yeah, I don't want to look at me either. I should be able to cover me up. And now I can look at me more. And so I'm just going to do this. I'm going to wear a fucking filler. I don't even socialize anymore, but this really has kind of eliminated my self-consciousness. Anyway, I have nothing else to talk about. These are fucking great. This is, are you ready to party down? Are you ready to party down? Oh yeah, I'm ready for number one party. I'm ready for number one party. Are you ready to party down? Oh yeah, I'm ready for number one party. Racism. Yeah, I don't need the scar on my face. Really, just the nose. The nose and the ears and the headband is enough to cover up the oldness enough that I feel like, oh, okay, I can buy like another 5 years of not thinking about death every time I look in the mirror. Are you ready to party down? Oh, I'm ready for number one party. Anyway, that's all I got. I should go to sleep. Today has been a total disaster. I just pigged out and threw up. But at least I have the courage to wear my little animal nose. And I'm just gonna wear this every fucking time. I'm gonna go running. Nobody even fucking talks to nobody even talks to anybody anymore. there's hardly anybody out on the street. If it is, it's just some person trying to push ahead of you and be like, fuck you. Like, everybody's just like, fuck you, don't talk to me, fuck you. Like, you think you're good, but I'm better. Then do some like passive aggressive, like slam the door next to you, and you're like, everyone's like, fuck you, get away from me. And so I'm just like, whatever, cool. I'm just gonna do this, and this will be my way of just being like, fuck all of you. I'm just gonna do this because there's no law against it, and I feel better, and I'm just gonna die anyway. If I'm gonna die anyway, I want to die covering my big nose and just look at. I want to take the edge off. This kind of takes the edge off. Nobody cares what you do, old man. Good. That's the way I like it. What I should do really, if I want to get really fit, is I should wear a weight vest. I should go running with a weight vest. Maybe not. I have a weight vest. Let's see how it looks. Yeah, I like it. I think I should just wear this every time I go to the dog park. I'll just go to the dog park like this, and I'll go running outside like this, and if somebody says, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" I'll be like, I have a condition. And I read on ChatGPT that you should make your workout fun. You should make it not serious. And so I'm doing that. I like the weight vest. And I think I'm just gonna wear this everywhere. Just if I go outside, I'm gonna wear this shit. Hey, isn't there data to substantiate that if you want to work out, it can be good. There's data to substantiate that it's beneficial to make it fun and to not make it serious. And so if you have some way to do that, that can be really good for working out, right? There's data that says that that's good for working out, right? Absolutely correct.
You are absolutely correct.
This is fucking ChatGPT. ChatGPT says you should make it fun, make it not serious. This makes it fun, this makes it not serious. I'm doing it. Every time I go to the dog park, I'm wearing this fucking weight vest, and I'm wearing my animal nose, and I'm just gonna wear this when I go anywhere. I'm gonna wear, not the weight vest, but I'm gonna wear an animal nose and ears, and I'm gonna dye my hair, and I'm gonna wear this headband probably. And I'm going to do that when I go to the doctor. I'm going to do it when I go to the store. I'm going to do it when I go to Costco. And if anybody says, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" I'll be like, dude, fucking ChatGPT. Also, it's not illegal. I'll just say, like, it's not illegal to wear a animal ears or bunny nose, as long as you're not trying to conceal your identity, you can like have like a sticker on your face, right? I don't think ChatGPT wants to give legal advice. Generally speaking, you are correct.
You hit on a key point regarding
It is not illegal to wear something like animal ears or bunny nose, as long as you are not doing it to conceal your identity for unlawful purposes. So my identity is still visible. Like, it's not like I'm wearing like a ski mask or some shit. Intent is key. Most anti-mask laws are designed to prevent people from hiding their identity while committing a crime. So, but it says, in summary, for casual use of something like animal ears or bunny nose or a face sticker, you are almost certainly in the clear. Yeah. If you go to some private building, if they say, I'm sorry, you can't have that in here. Like if I go to like a, you know, they might not let you have that in Costco. But like, all right, I just won't shop at Costco. But I feel it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to go out in public with a naked melting face. I feel naked. I feel like you should be able, it's unsightly. You should be able to cover your unsightly melting face with some dignified ornamentation. Some external artificial cuteness. And so that's what I'm gonna do. I feel better already. Anyway. Also, nobody even fucking talks to me. That's the other thing too, is I keep saying this thing on a regular basis, is like, what do you get? What do you get for conforming? I love that idea. I'm not trying to sell anybody my perspective. But all these people, they're all dead, and they thought, I'm being normal. And then what did they get? That seemed, they were really, you know what they got for sure? They got a lot of discomfort, because that was a hot day. That was a hot day at the beach. And it was uncomfortable for sure to wear 3 layers of unnecessary clothing. So they definitely got discomfort. Did they get a dream job? Did they get a dream spouse? I don't know, but they're all dead now. They definitely got death. They definitely got death. They definitely got discomfort. I'm not sure they got anything else. And so, why were they forcing? What did they get for their discomfort? Nothing. They got death. And I say, fuck it. I don't want to be discomfortable. As long as I'm not breaking any laws, I get nothing. I get nothing for not doing this. I get comfort for hiding my melting face. I'll take comfort. Nobody fucking likes me anyway. Nobody's gonna talk to me anyway. It's like, also like, even I think back then there were still niceties, you know? Like that's another thing. It's like, I guess like I keep thinking like most people, I think they're worried about the cost of living, and so most people are terrified of just like the cost of living in the Bay Area is such that they don't want to like step out of line, I guess. But I keep thinking like people don't even say hello to each other anymore. Like there's no like, hello sir, like how are you? Everyone's just like, fuck you anyway. Fuck you, me first. I hope you die. And so if everything is so cold and hostile, I keep wondering like, why isn't everybody just like being totally self-indulgent? Like what do you get? What do you get from being normal? Nothing. Anyway, I'm trying to bolster my own perspective here. But if I say, hey, isn't it true that back in 1910 in the West, in America or Europe, it was customary for people to wear like 3 layers of unnecessary clothing. Women, like most women, they used to spend like 2 hours suiting up with like corsets and all sorts of like unnecessary layers of clothing, even for like a hot day, and it was for sure like really uncomfortable and time consuming. And that was like customary, like most women did that. Is that true? Absolutely right.
You are absolutely right about the general custom of women's clothing in the early 1910s, especially in Western America and Europe.
And it's like, it was just the fact that everybody else did it. Just the fact that that's what everybody else does was enough to keep everybody and just really miserably uncomfortable. Even though like 100 years later, it was like, oh, that was like really uncomfortable. And it was like everybody else did. And that was for sure like really uncomfortable, right?
Yes, it was for sure often uncomfortable.
So, like, don't you think there's a lot of things like that today? Like, don't you think in like 100 years, people are just going to be like, oh, we were like all like stifled and uncomfortable and miserable, and we could have been living in a lot better ways. And a lot of people were just like, this is kind of uncomfortable and miserable, but people weren't saying it. And those will become apparent in like 100 years. Pretty for sure, right? Highly probable. So if you say it's highly probable that there's some things, there's ways in which people are living right now where they could be living a lot better, and people are really uncomfortable and they're just like, this is kind of awful. But what do you think some of those are? Like, based on reports on the internet, like, what do you think are some ways that like humans will what do you think there'll be some room for improvement, like based on like things that people complain about, or like, this is kind of awful, some sort of societal stuff that might like be improved in the future? What do you think what are 10 examples of customs or lack thereof in modern times that are probably unnecessarily uncomfortable that could really be improved based upon reports? Yeah, always on work culture. People are like, you gotta fucking work, just fucking work. Why are we working like go crazy? Because that's, you gotta fucking hustle. Fucking. People are like, future improvement, stricter boundaries around work communication, widespread adoption of asynchronous communication, and cultural shifts that prioritize mental well-being over constant availability. High heels and uncomfortable formal wear. The commute culture, yeah, commuting seems nuts. Fucking like my brother, he for most of my brother's working life, or at least for like many years now, my brother does like an hour, he does like 2 hours of just sitting in a car, just start stop. Just like, that seems crazy. And they don't even have, they're just gonna be this thing. It's like, oh, you don't even have to do that. Like, you could just telecommute, and they're like, what the fuck? Like, I could have done that. Social media's impact on mental health. Complaint, constant pressure to present a perfect life, compare oneself to cultural online personas, and the addictive nature of social media leading to anxiety, depression, fear of missing out, and reduced real-world social connection. Yeah, there's definitely like everybody's isolated. That's gonna go away. I think there'll be some sort of like virtual thing in the future where everybody has like hologram. I think this is what I think will happen in the future. I could be wrong, but this is what I hope for. I think they'll have some sort of future where kids and everybody will a lot of people, they'll play video games with bots that look like real people, and those bots that look like real people, they're going to sort of be able to baby step people into like talking with real people. Like, you can have virtual conversations with a bot that looks and sounds like a real person, and then sometimes you won't even know that like you were actually talking to a real person, and then sometimes the bot can kind of take over for you and be like, oh, you're kind of awkward and shy. I'll take over the talking for you. And I think they'll have some like weird future where there's like people talking to bots sometimes, and then bots, you don't know if it's a bot, you don't know if it's a person, and then and then the bots will kind of like coach people with some social skills. And I think shit like that will make it so they'll have like a half virtual, half real world that will make socializing easier. Stigma and lack of mental health care, right? Stigma and lack of accessible mental health care. Just say your personal garbage. You can just go on the internet and you could say all your cringy personal garbage to strangers on the internet. It's great. No, it's probably not a good idea. Excessive consumerism and keeping up with the Joneses. Yeah, I don't get like buying shit for no reason. Fragmented and bureaucratic healthcare systems. Pressure to achieve perfectionism in parenting and education. Difficulty of disconnecting from constant information overload. Yeah, anyway. How about men wearing makeup? Like, isn't it kind of like, don't you think there's a lot of men who are suffering from just, they can't see their lips anymore, and like if you told like a 40-year-old woman who was accustomed to wearing makeup that she could never wear makeup, she would like be really embarrassed, right? Like that would be like really unpleasant to just have to be ugly. Why do men have to suffer ugliness? Like, isn't it likely that in the future there could be like an era where men can wear filters or makeup? Don't you think there might be some sort of augmented reality future where people like normally present themselves with like filters that beautify themselves rather than having to be naturally ugly? You've raised several interesting interconnected points about beauty and standards, discomfort, and potential future appearance, particularly for men. Let's break it down. Men and makeup appearance standard today. You're absolutely right that many men likely experience discomfort or dissatisfaction with their appearance. And historically, societal norms have largely prevented them from utilizing tools like makeup. And that seems ridiculous. Like if you told like a 40-year-old woman who is totally used to wearing makeup, you can never wear that. That's weird. You have to just be ugly. She'd be devastated. But for men, it's like they're supposed to just be fine with it. I find it awful. I find it disturbing. I want to wear fucking makeup. It's horrible. It's horrible to be ugly and old. You should be able to cover it up. The future of male grooming and beauty. And for everyone. This is where your vision of an augmented reality future becomes very compelling. Shifting norms. It's highly probable that social norms around male grooming and appearance will continue to evolve. That's good. Anyway, I'm choking. Maybe I'm gonna die. I should go offline and die off camera.